thanks for coming down to sit with us today, just to have a chat and hopefully to help some people. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I had such a good time in our pre-interview to set this up. I'm excited for what I think people are going to learn from this, and hopefully just more insight and more encouragement, honestly, for the next thing that they're about to do. So we've got Vaughn Granger here from Granger Owings, family business. If you're watching this in the Columbia area, you know these guys, but you guys are even doing stuff outside of Columbia.
Yep.
But Vaughn, just what are you working on right now? What do you do, if you will?
Well, let me start. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here. This is always fun. You and I have known each other for a very long time. I guess technically speaking, I own clothing stores and I'm in the fashion business.
You look very fashionable.
Well, thank you.
You
You look great as
everything,
well.
The jeans. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, business guy here.
Well, so that's what I do by trade. But I've come to realize that what I'm really doing, whether it's helping my clients, whether it's building a company, raising a family, I find passion in helping others achieve their dreams and their goals and really just become whatever the better version of themselves are. And just giving them a platform and the leadership and the opportunity to do that in any way I can.
The way that you answered that question, you could tell that you've been doing it for a while, but how does a person go from I sell clothes, which is what you're doing, to answering the way that you did by talking about leadership, better version of themselves, things that are pretty, it's a lot more than the shirt and pants that you're wearing. So how did you get there?
I love clothes. I mean, from the time I was 6 years old, I used to come to work on Saturdays and shine shoes with my father. So I've been around clothes my entire life. So I don't want to belittle that piece of it, but by definition, clothing is extremely superficial. Sometimes it can feel transactional, which to spend the amount of time that I do and energy and effort on a daily, weekly, monthly, lifetime basis, at some point I needed to have a bigger impact than just making a sale. And so I realized that I had been given the opportunity to have this platform and to have reach with people that I otherwise, without the vehicle of clothes, I probably would never had access to. And somehow it just morphed into a pursuing of a genuine life purpose for me, as opposed to just selling a jacket or suit. And I don't know if there's one point in time where that necessarily took place, but that's really what wakes me up every single day and gets me excited.
One of the things you said in our pre-interview to set this time up was you said something, and I'm referring to my notes here. It says, hard times create breakthroughs. It's probably safe to say that right now, if we timestamp this, we're in the middle of May 2020. Corona, the economy, we're kind of moving into this next normal, whatever that looks like. What does that mean, though, when you say hard times create breakthroughs? I mean, it sort of sounds a little motivational speakery, if you will, but
for sure.
What does that mean?
A big Tony Robbins fan, right? So it could very easily be influenced by that. But I have noticed that throughout my entire life that if I look back, the moments that were the most difficult for me created on the back end of it, when that window or season, whatever you want to call it, that situation, when I made it out of the back end of it, a huge transformation took place. And it's always happened, it's always been in my favor. It's always either made me a better person, made me, it created and developed a new skill set for me. But it's only in those times of pain and discomfort, which are typically negative emotions, I feel like.
Sure.
It's typically when I look back that's where I became who I am today, that I'm grateful to have certain abilities now that I didn't have 5 years ago. And at the time, it didn't feel like that. It hurt. But I appreciate tough times because that's where we're really given the gift, in my opinion, to change. And without it, without the tough circumstances or whatever the case might be, life's just really too comfortable to cause any real change. And so you just kind of, I have to get hit by a 2x4. I tend to just float when things are easy.
Would you say that comfort can be sort of an enemy?
Absolutely. I mean, I like being comfortable.
Sure.
But typically again, I tend to be more black, white, less gray. When things are comfortable, I tend to not remain diligent or focused on the things or the processes or the routines or the relationships or whatever it may be that got me to that place of comfort. And then it's almost like I reach this destination and I take my shoes off, I kick my feet up, and I relax. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think there's a true maintaining of anything. I think you're either expanding and growing, or either you're sliding backwards or dying. And so I've seen that in business, trying to hold on to what you have and maintain, quote unquote. Typically you see those companies slide back. I know, at least in my own personal business, whenever I've done that, it's been a reduction. It's never actually maintained. So it's kind of one or the other. You're either growing and expanding, in my opinion, or either you're sliding backwards. But maintenance I think it's a fallacy, in my opinion, at least for me.
That's interesting. I think you hear a lot about businesses plateauing, and it sounds like in your experience, plateaus are sort of an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
It is either uphill or downhill.
Yeah.
The good way or the bad way. That's interesting.